are completely legal and they are required by law for new drugs, not to mention being sort of heavily regulated. Attacks on scientists are at an all-time low, however. Now, the BUAV say they are not interested in naming the scientists or the locations, but I hope the ruling will result in greater transparency. Okay for them to say that, but it only takes one renegade and there could be real problems, right? Now, they believe, the BUAV, the public has a right to know what is happening to these poor animals and why. Testing cosmetics and toiletries on animals has been banned in the United Kingdom since 1998. Home Secretary Theresa May has signalled government plans to end the testing of household products on animals. But what about medicines? If a member of your family is suffering from Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, wouldn't you want those researchers to be able to conduct their experiments in safety? I'm going to get that fly, and that's not animal cruelty. Right, contest on that. Who has the strongest views on this?
Well, I think it's a necessary evil. I hate the thought of it. But when it comes to medicines and research into diseases that affect our lives in such a terrible way, it is necessary to test these drugs and procedures. Now, I know that they do have human guinea pigs, people who volunteer, and they're paid for that, but not all of them will volunteer for some of the trials that are necessary. What I object to is unnecessary testing on animals for household products. I know that it's banned, but we import a lot from the States, and I don't know whether the regulations are different there. Yes, we need to know, because we need to make an informed choice about what we buy, but I'm also concerned that this could put people at risk, because there are a lot of crazies out there who will take action against them if they find out they're involved.
Indeed. So do we have a right to know? And of course, you know, when you run pictures, as we just did, and the Daily Mail puts that on page 3, I tell you, people react very, very strongly to suffering animals, do they not? Do animals need protecting?
Well, I think animals do need protecting, but also so do we. You know, so you're making a choice. You know, if you're taking any form of drug, whether it be for, you know, a cold or an antibiotic or anything like that, then are you prepared to put your life on the line to test it? That's what I wonder. You know, if you ask anybody...
It's a fine line, though, because I understand the idea about medications and testing, but I think, Miriam, in this country, they do still test on animals for household products. So, you know, the idea that a rabbit or a small animal is being tortured with domestos or bleach, to me, as a consumer, I wouldn't want to buy that product. Now, the idea of a scientist's safety, I think, again, as a consumer, you do have a right to know what at least the corporation's name is, because then you can choose how you spend your money and how you support this kind of behaviour.
So if you saw clearer labelling on household products that said this product has... They're not exactly going to advertise this, are they? This product has been tested on animals. Would you make a purchasing decision based on that?
I would, and I do. I think no animal testing is something that I pay attention to. I would support a product that has that label on there.
Are the British public to be trusted, all of us? Are we to be trusted with this sort of information?
Do you know, I think that we can be told about the products that have been tested on animals, but do we need to know where they have been tested, which universities and which scientists know? So we need the information so we can have that informed decision, yes.
I would agree.
So you believe that there are people out there who would take that information and use it against those organising the research?
They would, and they have. And the reason that attacks are at an all-time low is because of the secrecy surrounding laboratory testing. But yeah, there are crazy people out there who would take matters into their own hands.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, for monkeys, darling, you know, what's wrong with a little bit of lipstick and testing that out and testing some eyelash glue and putting all that on a bit of rouge?
Yes,
other than my face blowing up.
Well, do you know something? I mean, just to counter that, do we have that do we have those pictures that we had earlier on? Those still pictures. I wonder if we could just show that again. It might have gone. But I mean, just take a look at that. I know this will inflame people, but that, no question, is offensive. Now, I'm not, and that as well. We all remember the Beagles smoking those cigarettes as well. Do you remember that?
Well, in all seriousness, I mean, it's terrible, absolutely terrible, really. But
now you're reacting emotionally.
Yes, of course, I know. But still, you know, I was being funny when I say, well, what's wrong with, you know, obviously testing rouge on dogs and monkeys and stuff. But, I mean, how do you test it? You know, you have to either be a major human guinea pig, and then, you know, for long-term effects, you've got to check into some terrible ward, you know, and just be prodded and jabbed and lose your life, really, as you know it, and you never know what's going to happen. So I think...
Are we a higher species?
We eat them.
Oh, well, I was going to say,
rabbits too,
animal
rabbits,
transportation and farming techniques have come under
different.
scrutiny.
I mean, I used to be a vegetarian. I'm not. I changed my diet for health reasons. It turned out that, you know, in my life and the way I perform or whatever, I needed to change my diet.
Yeah.
But I still make what I consider to be humane decisions about the meat that I eat, again, through labelling. I would...
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so do we want, just very, very quickly, do we have the right to know, should BUAV, should they know, should they get all the details that they want, and is that information right to be in the public domain under the Freedom of Information Act?
No.
Some of it. Only some of it. So we can make an informed decision about the products we buy.
I think we agree. Yeah, some of it.
Okay, that's what the panel thinks. Thank you very much indeed for that. After break, your turn. Universities will now be forced to disclose details of their animal testing. It's going to happen. It's contentious, but regulated, as we've said. And while the tests are funded by our taxes, surely this